Hey y'all, it's Amanda with Tap Mom and the Bake Brigade. Hope everybody's had a good Saturday. My Saturday's been a little rough because my stomach decided to act ugly today. And because of this weather shift that we've been going through here in Louisiana, probably something to do with this hurricane. It missed us here, but the if I can say the word, atmospheric pressure, barometric pressure, the shift that it caused did not miss me. I'll put it that way. Yeah, I get those barometric pressure headaches, and they're not like the migraines that I used to get. They're just like behind the eyes and a little bit in the neck, and they're just enough to just put a wet blanket on your day. You know what I'm saying? And my glasses are again with the glasses. I've got to go get new glasses. These just, I wonder if they got any that are smudge proof. I mean, I blink, I move my face, smudges. I clean my face, I clean the glasses, 5 minutes later, smudges. It's really annoying. It's very annoying. FYI, it is annoying. See, clean any oils off my eyes. All right, that's better. I can see now, because when I take them off, everything is blurry. I was sitting here and I took some headache medicine, and then I sat and thought about it, like, oh, you didn't have a drop of caffeine today. So I went in my kitchen and I looked in the cabinet, and I was like, because I really didn't feel like a Mountain Dew. I had Mountain Dew yesterday, and I still had the headache. So obviously it didn't have anything to do with that form of caffeine. But I do have herbal tea in my cabinet, and I only have one herbal tea that has caffeine, and it's this one, this Yu-Gi-Oh sweet tangerine positive energy blah blah blah. I just figured I'd show it to y'all. You can get this in Walmart. They sell boxes of it, 16 bags per box. They're little small boxes, but yay big, for just under $5, I think. It's gone up considerably. It was just under $4. Now it's under $5. You know, it's $4 and change, something like that. So, I got it in this pray cup. Because that's kind of how I felt today. My stomach, with the gastric bypass comes complications sometimes. Like if you take certain things, that you can cause yourself to be unable to do certain bodily functions, and then if you go too long without being able to do that said bodily function, your stomach will get in knots. And so that's what happened to me today, is my stomach decided to get into knots. And unfortunately, when that happens to me, it puts me in a bad mood. And so I decided, there's some yarn that usually sits behind me over here, that's in the dining room, because I caked it up today. The Cascade Cantana yarn that I bought from Webb's earlier this year. I'm gonna make some sweaters with that yarn here soon. But I wanted to cake it up, and I caked up some of the yarn that Hope gave me. And I pulled the sock loom that was recently sent to me. I pulled up because I wanted to use this yarn that, you know, I caked up this beautiful stuff here, and I caked up this. Let's see, there's one of the little threads, but I caked up this. This is some silk and merino blend here, and there's 3 of these. But this is finger and weight. Yeah, finger and weight. Ooh. I never in a million years would have thought that I'd have seen myself with something like that. But these little sock looms, now I got the big one over there. I got some yarn that also came from Hope, that is green sock yarn that I'm going to use to make one of the boys a pair of socks with. But it's a bit, this is the smaller of the two looms, of the two sock looms. I'm going to use the bigger one for, you know, them. And I did have this in the Yarnet, in this thing, and it works perfectly. But I wanted to put it away so that I could work on something else. I'm just going to project jump tonight because, well, that's kind of how I'm feeling. But I started this is going to be a scarf, and I'm going to use some of this for you know, part of the scarf, and then I'll switch colors and go to the other, and then I'm just going to stripe this throughout the scarf since this is the variegated, and this is the solid. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pair these together and make a scarf on this here sock loom. So the yarn smells good. It does. It smells good. But that's what I'm doing with this. And I think this might be my new on-the-go project. I'll probably put this in my little British flag Union Jack bag. And this may be my on-the-go project, because this will be very time consuming because of the small yarn. But I am going to use that owl eye stitch. And what I did with this is I took a Sharpie, because they're mine and I can do that. And I painted this peg right here. So that's my, I'm making that my anchor peg. And so I had a loop of just my slip knot hook loop there. And I put it around this peg until I made it 2 full rounds, and then I took it off of there so that my progress can go down the middle. But so this will be worked in a flat panel. It's more of a decorative scarf than a warm scarf because of this yarn. It's going to be kind of a shiny, you know, decorative scarf, not necessarily, you know, to keep warm, but just more or less to be pretty around your neck. So, you know, I don't have much done on it yet, just a couple of rounds, but it will be. I think it's going to be really pretty, and there's just opportunity for me to work with yarns that normally are too thin for me to crochet with, but they work perfectly on this loom. This is a 1/4 inch gauge, so that's what the box says, that this is 1/4 inch gauge. So that's what makes this workable for the thinner yarn. So that's why I'm loom knitting a scarf with this sock yarn, sock loom. So I mean, I'm just one of those I'm a person who likes to improvise, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm improvising since the yarn is way too thin for me to crochet with. I don't think my hands could handle it. So rather than just giving up and giving the yarn away, I'm improvising. So and I did a couple of rounds, and it works just fine this way. I can do it this way. It's just going to take me a while, and that's perfectly fine. This can be my on-the-go project when I get stuck at the doctor's office, or you know, if I'm somewhere and I know I'm going to be waiting for a while, I can just pull this out and just work it and relax and work it. You know, when I get in between projects and I just need a palette cleanser, you know, to kind of keep myself from getting burnt out, I can pull this out and work some rounds until it's done. So that's what's going on with this one. I just started this an hour ago. Two brand new projects today, because I also have the yarn and have literally in the last few minutes started Shelly's sweater, and that's what we're going to do. I do have a couple of items of birthday gifts that I got via Amazon today. Yeah, I put it up on the shelf because I've really got to clean my room, y'all. But I got this from Beverly Fowler, one of my sweet channel members, and kind of like one of my mamas. This is Kobu. This is a 6-pack of Kobu. It was on my wish list. This is a 3-weight bamboo yarn. It's 51% cotton and 49% rayon from bamboo. It's a 3-weight yarn. It's called Admiral Blue. It's kind of like almost like a faded navy. It's gorgeous. I'm leaving it in the plastic until I get ready to use it, because this room gets pretty dusty, and so I'm just going to leave it in here until I get ready to use it. There's I think something like 1,300 yards or something like that. This should be enough for a lacy something, you know, but I'm really excited because I've been wanting this Kobo for a while, and just haven't bitten the bullet and got it for myself. So I'm really grateful for this. I'm gonna put it back up here with all the other little pretties. And then also came in the mail another thing off my wish list. Y'all are really spoiling me, by the way. Thank you so much. Yes, Jacqueline Ellsbury from Tiny Little Blessings. I will put her channel link in the description. So Jacqueline from Tiny Little Blessings, she sent me these small gauge looms that I mentioned that I had some of these, but they got broken in an incident that I don't want to talk about. But I had these, and they got broken, and I had planned on replacing them eventually, and God bless her, she sent them to me, and I really appreciate that. I plan on probably making some things with these as well. I did do, this is a 3/8 gauge, 3/8 of an inch gauge looms. So I did some checking, and I believe based on eyeballing things, I believe I can probably use 3-weight with this. So I have some 3-weight mandala cakes. So I might use some of the mandala cakes that I have and make hats with those, some lighter weight hats. And yeah, but these make beautiful hats. They look like, when you make them on these smaller gauge looms, they literally look like they've been needle knitted. That's how well they look. So I'm really excited to have these again, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So, and someone suggested that I put some nails in the wall behind me and hang my looms, so I might do that. Either tomorrow or Monday, I'm going to really work on my room. I got a new sweater to make, and I want to try to get that done. But she's made it very easy. She sent the yarn she wanted used, and it's self-striping, and she wants a granny stitch one. So those are going to make my life so much easier. This is going to go so much quicker. Believe me, hers is going to be one of the easier ones. So, and I know how many rounds to do. I know how, yeah, all the guesswork is out of this one. So it should be a relatively easy make for me. And then I'll wash it and get it back on the mail to her pretty quickly, probably less than 2 weeks. And I'm just going to bounce between projects right now, because that seems to work for me. Yeah, that seems to work, bouncing between projects. It keeps my mind, from getting bored and getting burnt out. So I'm definitely going to keep doing that, because, well, that and I was able to finish those other 2 cardigans side by side almost within less than a week. I had both of them done. So that worked out really well. I still got to work on Will's blanket. I think I just need I need about 3 days where that's all I do is work on his blanket. So that's going to have to come up too. I'm going to fit it in between things. But he's not pressuring me. He had a very, very good birthday. He really appreciated the happy birthdays. His girlfriend they went to some place where you could make blown glass and make glass art, and she paid a fee, and they went in and made glass items. And his looked like it was tall, about yay big, and it looked like it could either be a glass to drink out of or a vase. and it had all different colors. It had like flame colors, like red and yellow and orange, and it was so pretty. It was so pretty. I didn't get to see hers, but his was really beautiful. And I was thinking to myself, I might have to have him tell me where they went to do that, so that I don't want to, I can't see myself going in there and doing that, but I wouldn't mind going and having, and seeing what they have ready made that you can buy, you know. Excuse me with the burping. But I wouldn't mind going in there and seeing what they had ready made that you can buy, you know. Maybe they have something, but I was kind of wishing he made Mom that vase, because it was all flamage, you know. It was tailor-made Phoenix, you know. It looked Phoenixy to me. But he said they had like 30 different colors that you could incorporate in whatever piece you make. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And he had a really good time doing that. And apparently they have some sort of 8-week course. You can pay like $1,500 and take an 8-week course, and they go in more in depth on how to make all that stuff, and you can get certified in making it and all that stuff. And he said he was very interested in doing that. And I'm thinking to myself, when you gonna fit that in to your full-time work schedule? But it is something that he would enjoy. You know, he's creative. He's got that much of me in him that he's very, you know, creative mind. You know, his mind will let him create things. And I think that he would enjoy doing something like that as a side hustle. Maybe as a side hustle, you know, something as a side business, because he really likes the job he has now. So where he tears down engines, you know, takes engines apart. That seems to be his groove. You know, he seems to have hit his groove there where he really enjoys that job. So I'm really happy about that, because he's had so many jobs that he hated, and he would just come home from work every day just absolutely miserable. And so now, you know, ever since he went to work at this place, he's not come home miserable every day. He's, you know, a lot happier, and which makes him a lot easier to live with. But I am working on Shelly's yarn. Is this beautiful grape jelly yarn, Karen Big Cake. Oh, apparently I have a scrap ball underneath it. But it fits perfectly in my little thing here. When it gets small enough, I'll try it in my yarn it ball, but it's too big right now. But I just been I caked up a bunch of yarn to use for sweaters coming up, and then I caked up that fancy yarn that Hope had given me, so that I could make me a scarf, or just make a scarf in general and work with the pretty yarn like that, you know. Because you see all these these beautiful yarns in the hands of your friends. Shannon at Another Yarn. She loves her finger and weight yarn, and I love to look at it. But it, you know, the thought of working with it is always, you know, kind of mentally hurt my hands. And I think I'm going to have to chain between, as much as I didn't want to, I think I'm going to have to, for drape purposes, I'm going to have to chain between clusters here if I'm going to get that to drape properly. I remember from something else I tried to make, when I tried to make one of these without chaining between clusters, it didn't work out so well. But what did I do? Forgive me, y'all. I kind of lost what I was doing. What is wrong with me? I'm in corners, all corners. Ain't I? Yeah, that's a corner, and this is a corner. Okay. That's what I get for trying to do the setup rows while I'm talking to y'all. I should know better. it requires at least a little concentration. This is only the second row. And if you want to know how to do a hexagon, just it's very similar to doing a regular granny square. You just do 6 points instead of 4. Instead of doing 4 corners, you do 6. It's just that easy. I know everybody wants to make it sound so complicated. Oh, it's so complicated. No, it's not, baby. It's not complicated. And then there's just a way to fold it to that makes it look like a sweater. You fold it in half a certain way, and you see that you can clearly see the sleeve in the bottom part. It's pretty cool. And the easiest way to connect them once you've got your 2 halves done is to seam up them shoulders first, and then seam up the back. And usually when I seam up the shoulders, I then attach my yarn to either the front or the back, and just run me like a couple of more rows along the front, along the bottom, and up the other side, and then back down, and then back up at least 2 more rows that way. That gives me a start to, gives me something to attach on the back, and then gives me my front lapels. And then after I get it attached, I can go and do my front post, back post ribbing on my lapels in the bottom. So just a little tip. And of course, y'all can, if y'all want a tutorial, Kelly over at Crafting a Cup, to me, she has some of the best Hexacardi tutorials there are out on YouTube. She goes into great detail on how to make everything work. Much more detail and much more explanation than I would probably come up with. And her filming is on point, and she stays in frame and all that good stuff. So if y'all need a link to any of those tutorials, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. I'll go grab the link and put it in the comment for you. But I would highly recommend anything that Kelly puts out. She does a stellar job on all of her tutorials. I have a few tutorials on my channel, for my shawl, my V for Victory shawl that I made, my Rising Phoenix top that I made. There's a couple of loom knit tutorials. So you can check those out, but I'm not a very good tutorial person. I'm just not. I use my cell phone for all my filming. Occasionally I'll use my webcam for stuff, but it doesn't have the my webcam was kind of cheap, and it doesn't do good with color. It doesn't have it, it's not good, it's not as crisp and clear with the colors as my cell phone, so I don't use it much. Mainly with like members only lives or something like that, where it doesn't matter, if I'm not showing anything that has to be precise with colors. But and Vince didn't even know that I was in a funky mood today, and he still managed to cheer me up. Just with his funny sarcasm. We were texting, and I forget exactly what it was, but it made me laugh so much. We just have the same type of sense of humor, very sarcastic and very off the cuff. And before I knew it, despite how I was physically feeling, he had me laughing. I was like, thank you. Oh, I know. Well, part of it was my friend Marcia had sent me this little video clip of a banana chocolate bread recipe video type thing. and and Vince is a big into baking, and so I sent him the video via Facebook, and he said, "Did you see that part about no sugar?" And I said, "Yes, I did." And I sent him like the little kiss emoji, you know, like 3 times, and he said, "No sugar." And I was like, "Oh, so you want me to keep my kisses to myself?" And he said, "Oh no." He did not want me to keep my kisses to myself. Common joke down south is kisses are referred to as sugar. Give me some sugar. Sugar? Yeah. That's that reference. In case you're somewhere you don't catch that, but here in the South we often refer to kisses as sugar. So that's why I sent him little kiss emojis when we were talking about no sugar. But he's diabetic. He's an insulin dependent diabetic, and I can't tolerate a lot of sugar because I was diabetic before I had my gastric bypass. I wasn't like a bad diabetic, just basically pre-diabetic. But he's bad diabetic, so he's got to really watch it. He puts artificial sweetener in his sweet tea that he drinks a gallon of by himself all day. In the summertime, he said he goes through 2 gallons of sweet tea a day. But he uses pure cane sugar in those in that water that he puts in the hummingbird feeders. But he doesn't eat the sugar himself. He feeds it to the hummingbirds. So that was sugar water that he was putting in the hummingbird feeders. If anyone was wondering. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. See? Tiny little sweater. Tiny. And I'm not even past the first stripe. It's still in the same color. Crazy how that happens. But I did discover, I think when I tried to do this, try to do one of these without chaining in between the clusters, it wasn't, it wouldn't drape right. It wouldn't flow right. So I almost tried to do it without chaining between clusters this time, and then I remembered. But this goes pretty quick. And this yarn here is just, it has a little bit of a stretch to it, which is nice. It's kind of almost spongy a little, but not, I mean, it's acrylic, but it's a very nice acrylic. The Karen Big Cakes are very nice yarn. If you get an opportunity to get some, do that, because it's very good yarn. And it washes up really good. It doesn't do a lot of fuzzing. It doesn't peel up real bad. It's really nice. I got a sweater in the living room, a big rainbow sweater that I made a year or so ago, and I've washed it a couple of times, and it's great. It looks great. It's way too big on me. I've been meaning to gift it to somebody. The sleeves are just not, I don't want to sell it because the sleeves I'm not proud of the sleeves. I didn't have a sleeve trick back when I made that one, and so I kind of did a aftermarket sleeve trick with it, and I'm just not pleased with the sleeves. They look like clown sleeves. It's just not, it's not ideal. I'll pull it out and show y'all tomorrow. But it swallows me whole now. When I first made it, it wouldn't even come, I was 400 pounds when I first made it, and it wouldn't even meet in the middle across my belly at the time. And now it wraps around me. Anytime I start feeling bad about myself over whatever, I remember stuff like that and how far I've come with it. Because you'll run into things that make you feel sad. Things that you can't do nothing about. People's opinion of you that you can't do nothing about. Talked to my uncle yesterday. He called me, and I typically have my cell phone on vibrate because for some reason all those little text and alert notifications, all that little ticking and dinging just kind of gets on my nerves. I don't know why, it just does. All that ding, 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 all those little notifications on my phone, it just drives me bonkers. But I do have it set to my phone that when I get a notification, it's set to vibrate, but it's also set that it'll my camera flash, my light, on the back of the phone will flash. So I see that most of the time. If I have it sitting next to me or right next to me here in the chair, my phone will flash, and that's when I'll know that I got a text or something. I don't miss many, but occasionally I miss a phone call. And so I had missed his call within just a few minutes, and so I called him back because I don't hear from my Uncle John very often. And yes, I did name my son after my uncle, and my uncle will soon be 67 years old. Oh, color change. Well, it's not a real color change. It's just a shade of purple change, but. A couple of years ago, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago, he had a stroke. And so sometimes words are hard for him. But apparently earlier this year, he was finally able to get his Social Security going. His Social Security retirement money, which made life easier for him financially, which I'm very happy to hear because he was struggling there for a while because he rides a motorcycle. He has a Victory motorcycle. That's a brand of motorcycle. If you don't know, it's called a Victory. And he was riding his motorcycle, and some woman hit him, knocked him off his motorcycle, and broke his leg real bad. And it took him a while to recover from that. He was laid up for quite a while, and couldn't work, and messed with his finances a bit, and it took him a while to recover from that because he's always paid all his bills on time and had a really high credit rating, and and that really brought him down mentally too, not being able to take care of his own business and whatnot. And he don't really have anybody up there. He got a divorce from a really terrible woman many years ago now, and so he's been on his own for quite a while. I think he has a church family that he's very close with, and several good friends, but no one that actually takes care of him. He just takes care of himself. So, but and he's been kind of helping taking care of one of my grandmother's sister, Aunt Elizabeth. So he helps take care of her, or was. He didn't talk about her yesterday. But he was mainly contacting me because he hadn't been able to get a hold of my mother in a couple of days. And he wanted to know if I had my sister's number, which I did. I don't speak to them, but I have their numbers. So, but we talked about all kinds of stuff, and he said he was friends with a lady that also rides motorcycle that has become his companion. And he said at this point in life he wasn't looking for romance, but he was happy to have someone to ride motorcycle with and go out to dinner with and maybe go to the movies with and that kind of thing. But he wasn't trying to live with nobody else or anything like that. He's pretty happy batching it. So he's happy living on his own, and his ex pretty, my ex aunt pretty much ruined him for marriage. I suspect it might have been somewhat of a domestic violence situation. She mistreated him quite badly. I would never ask him. He's too proud a man for that, but I suspected that she mistreated him quite a bit. There toward the end, she mistreated him in front of us when they were down here visiting. During I want to say it was a Thanksgiving thing, that we were all over at a friend of mine's house and her family's house, and she had invited me and my family to come to a Thanksgiving deal, and she hit my uncle in front of all of us. She smacked him in the back of the head and knocked his hat and his glasses right off of him, and we were all just kind of looking at each other like, what just happened? And he just kind of got up and picked his hat and glasses up and excused himself, and they left. And it wasn't not even 6 months later that a big blow up happened, and she, did some things, and they ended up separating and later getting a divorce. And I was really glad to see him get rid of her. The killer part was that he'd been with her since I was 15 years old. So he was with her for a very long time. Very long time. So, and to see him finally get rid of her, none of us really liked her. We just tolerated her because he tolerated her. Because, he married her and made her family, and so, and we just loved him so much. We just put up with her because, we loved him. It was just what you do, when you love your family members so much, you put up with who they marry. Because you don't want to alienate them because they married someone you don't like. She was awful. Absolutely awful. And we were pretty sure she was cheating on him, but we didn't have no proof of that. I don't know how, because she was ugly as the back end of a horse. But somehow she was. And I'm being polite when I say that, just so you know. I'm being polite when I say that she was as ugly as the back end of a horse, because the back end of a horse probably looks better than her. If that tells y'all anything about my opinion of the woman. But, because my uncle is one of the most kindest, compassionate, and sweet people you would ever hope to encounter in your life. And to see him mistreated was just everything that we could do not to go wring that little woman's neck. And she was small. She was all of about 5'1", and maybe 110 pounds, soaking wet. And he's a good 6 foot tall. And so, you wouldn't think somebody that small would hurt someone bigger than them, but yeah. When they've been raised not to lay a finger on a woman, oh yeah, some women will take advantage of that wholeheartedly, and she certainly did for over 25 years. And he never made her work. She never had to do anything but be nice to him, and she couldn't even do that. Oh, well, he's happy now, and that's all that matters. This is just me making conversation. But it was really good to hear from him and hear him in good spirits. Even after everything he's been through, he seemed to be in good spirits. Reasonably happy, I would say. Happy to have found him a companion to go do things with, especially ride motorcycle. That's one of his passions. It always has been. He's always loved to ride motorcycle. I know when I was a kid, he used to come down here for about 2 weeks every summer, and he would have some sort of motorcycle, and I'd go ride it with him. He'd put me on the back of that thing and off to the interstate we'd go, and just riding as fast as we could. What a rush. I just remember being really small on the back of that motorcycle and going on down the interstate really fast and just having the time of my life. And he and I would go have a Subway sandwich and then go to the movies, and we saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit together. And that if that tells you anything about how long ago that was. That's a classic, by the way. That's a classic movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yes, it was Jessica Rabbit. It was Jessica Rabbit who did that. Oh, the last sip of tea. Look there. And it's cold at that point. Anyhow, we've been going for a while, but thank y'all for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all Saturday. Hopefully by tomorrow I won't have this headache and I can actually do something. But I am going to sit here and work on this cardigan, this new cardigan here. But yeah, it's curling, but that's okay. That's probably because my tension's too tight or something, but it'll be fine. By the time I'm done with it, it'll be beautiful. That's not cocky, that's just true. But I love y'all so much, and so does Jesus. And please remember to adopt, don't shop. Your best friends could be waiting on you at the shelter or the rescue, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.